Let's let's chant the Shanti mantra of Kaivalya Upanishad. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunayama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stuštuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vriddashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatir Dadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today is our third session on the Upanishads. Our program today is to see Adhyasa Bashyam first for about 1 hour from 6 to 7 o'clock. Then we will start the Kaivalya Upanishad from 7 to 7:30 for 30 minutes. And later on for about 15 minutes, we will try to see how we can meditate on Mahavakyam. After the first two sessions, I received a lot of feedback from the listeners, and they have requested me to take Adhyasa Bashyam slightly in more detail than what I was planning to. I thought I will just cover Adhyasa Bashyam for about 10-15 minutes and then proceed to Kaivalya Upanishad. But then there were so many responses for Adhyasa Bashyam. Then I just decided that, okay, I will take it a little bit more deeper. So what I have decided now is today I will take for 1 hour, but from next week onwards, I will take the Kaivalya Upanishad for 1 hour and then Adhyasa Bashyam for half an hour. So that way, in about 8 or 10 sessions, we will finish the Adhyasa Bashyam completely. This Adhyasa Bashyam, which I'm taking in these sessions, is not a very detailed one with a lot of reasoning, with a lot of logic. It is perhaps an introduction to Adhyasa Bashyam. Last week, after the class, I have circulated Shankaracharya's Adhyasa Bashyam translation. So if you want to study a little bit more detailed Adhyasa Bashyam after these sessions, you can study that Shankara Bhashyam. You will be able to understand that at a later point of time. Today I have circulated the first part of Adhyasa Bashyam notes, which I plan to take in these sessions. After some time, I will send you the second part of Adhyasa Bashyam. So my Adhyasa Bashyam here is going to cover in a general way what is Adhyasa, how important it is for our study of Upanishads. Initially, this Adhyasa Bashyam in Vedantic schools is generally taken before Brahma Sutra. I have also studied that when I did the Upanishads, and later on when I studied the Brahma Sutra, I studied the Bashyam. But then I felt that the Bashyam is extremely relevant for understanding the Upanishad itself. Because Upanishads give us description about ourselves. And if you don't understand the basis on which this entire study is done, then you might get a little lost in the study of Upanishad itself. You will appreciate that when I complete the Adhyasa Bashyam notes and take these 7-8 sessions or about 10 sessions. I don't know how long it's going to take because it's a 30-minute session. Then after the last week's class, there was also a lot of request for Mahavakya meditation. That was not in my schedule at all, but then there were so many requests for the Mahavakya. In the chat itself, there was one request, and there were a lot of calls to me for taking a sample. How should we meditate? For the Wednesday class, of course, I have regular meditation sessions for about 10 to 15 minutes. But I thought, let me give you a sample and let me try if I can give you some way to meditate on Mahavakya. So we'll attempt that for about 15-20 minutes at the end of today's talk. So these are the 3 portions for the today's session: Adhyasa Bashyam, Kaivalya Upanishad, Mahavakya Vichara, meditation. Adhyasa Bashyam, basically Adhyasa means superimposition. You must understand what is superimposed on what. That is the basic fundamental question you must answer first. In Tattva Bodha, we have seen the definition of Atma. It says that I am not the body, the 3 bodies. I am not the 5 koshas. I am not the 3 avasthas, the states of consciousness. I am of the nature of Sat Chit Ananda Swarupaha. That is the fundamental definition of Atma, which, as I said before also, we must always keep that at the back of our mind throughout our 2-year study. If you miss this definition, you will not be able to understand the Upanishads. So in this definition, what it means is that there is Atma and there is anatma. Anatma is superimposed on Atma. That is one problem. The dharma, the property of the body, mind, intellect, is superimposed on Atma. You will understand all this when we go through these slides, but I'm just giving you a simple, small introduction so that you know where is the starting point. Then there is also a superimposition of Atma Dharma on Anatma. Atma Dharma is pure existence, consciousness, bliss. So that existence is superimposed on the body. Therefore, I say I exist. The body exists. The mind exists. I am conscious of the mind. All these are all adhyasas. How does this adhyasa happen? We will have details in the notes. But this is the fundamental superimposition, which is a manufacturing defect according to Swami Chinmayananda. We are all manufactured from the five elements. When the five elements are put together, the body is created, the subtle body is created, it gets a reflection of Atma. Instead of owning up the pure consciousness, I end up owning the body. I am of the nature of pure awareness. But I take myself to be this body throughout our life. And therefore, this mixture, which is very naturally happening to all of us during the transaction state, that is what is called as the problem of adhyasa in life, which is the fundamental cause of samsara. Shankaracharya in his commentary says, if you can understand the difference between pure consciousness and the material body and the mind, remove the superimposition, the error, then you're free. Then what do you realize? You realize I was always free. Not that after study I became free. I was nitya muktaha. I am nitya muktaha. I am always will be nitya muktaha because this Atma has no connection whatsoever at any point of time with the body and mind. Only with the body and mind I experience the world. So our whole life undergoes a huge change, a transformation, when I am aware of this fact that I am the pure consciousness. And I experience that all the time. In the waking, in the dream, in the sleep, I am conscious, I am conscious. I can never negate this fact from my side. I can say I'm not the body, it can be negated because I don't experience that in the sleep state or in the dream state. I can say I'm not the Karana Shariram, I'm not the subtle body, because that subtle body experiences are not there in the dream state is not there in the waking state. So similarly, my relative statuses are negatable. But I am the consciousness existence principle continues forever, right from birth till date, and then even in future, even when the body is not there, Upanishads tell me that this pure Atma is immortal. It never has birth, it never has death. That is the subject matter for all the Upanishads. Not knowing this fundamental ignorance in all human beings is the fundamental cause of adhyasa. I do not know. If you ask any person, who are you? What is your real nature? At most, he will say, I was born on so-and-so day to so-and-so parents. And then, as I see in the world today, this I, which I am saying, will probably disappear. But is that the real truth of myself? What is our image today? Our image is what we take our body to be: short, fat, lean, fair, lovely, dark. What my mind is to be: I'm a dullard, I'm knowledgeable, I'm wise. What the body possesses: I'm rich, I'm very wealthy, I've got so many houses around the world, I've got such a big bank balance. The conditions of my mind: I'm happy, unhappy, sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy. All these are all changing, relatively changing. Throughout our life, throughout our day, these are the superimpositions we all have. All this self-image, Shankaracharya says, is because of the ignorance of the self. Suppose I know I am Atma, I am eternal, I am immortal, then what will I say? I am appearing with this body, I am appearing with this mind in the waking state, and it will disappear in the dream and sleep state. That will be the new change in my thinking. So understanding this ignorance, conquering this ignorance first, is the foundation of any spiritual journey. And Adhyasa is a mixture of the real Atma, permanent Atma, eternal Atma, and the relative appearing, disappearing body, mind, world, anatma. See how the differentiation in understanding takes place, and how I can clear this mistake cognitively. I cannot change my body or mind or the world, but I can learn through the Veda, through the Upanishads. I can learn to discriminate, disidentify with the body mind cognitively. This, after discernment, the unreal will not bind us. It loses the capacity. Because I know the truth, this knowledge becomes permanent in my intellect. The darkness of ignorance, which was there for so many births according to the scriptures. I do not know that. But what the scripture says, that for many janmas, I have always lived with a notion. I am this body. That vasana, dehatma vasana, disappears when I have this knowledge. The body and mind will continue in this world as per the law of prarabdha, but I will not be affected. That is why here we say it loses the capacity to disturb me. The truth is simple, but the fixations of untruth are complex. Like I said, I'm a dullard, I'm a scholar, I'm rich. All these are all how to remove those, how to remove each one of them. The self divested of all the self-image, the wrong self-image, the wrong self-definition, the wrong self-ideas, is the ultimate truth. The truth is now covered by notions of untruth, of the anatma, of the non-self. As we free ourselves from this mix-up, this adhyasa, this superimposition, we gain the freedom from bondage. Taittiriya Upanishad very beautifully says, Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti that from which beings are born, that from which beings are living today, that in which they continue to exist when the body disappears, that is called as Brahman. And what is this Brahman? Is the core of my personality. Brahman means awareness, consciousness principle. We have seen this in the Mahavakya Vichara section last week. So the world has originated from one cause, it is sustained by one cause, it resolves into one cause. If I know that cause, then I will be able to free myself from the notion of the effect. The law is the cause pervades the effect. Gold pervades ring, chain, bangle. There is no ring, chain, bangle without gold, because gold is the cause. Similarly, clay gives birth to a pot, it sustains a pot, it is the resolution ground for the pot. And what is Brahman? Now we have seen gold, clay. What is Brahman? It is a technical name for the cause of this universe. Remember this fact throughout the study. We use the word Brahman so many times, including our meditation today, Aham Brahmasmi. When I say Aham Brahmasmi, it means I am looking at the cause of the universe. I am that cause of that universe, which is pure Sat, which is existence, pure Chit, which is consciousness, and which is limitless, Ananda. This principle of Satchit Ananda can be appreciated in the immanent form, in the all-pervading form of the universe, because cause pervades the universe. And it can be appreciated extrinsic to in the universe. It can remain independent of the universe, which is called as the transcendent principle. See, these are all very important lessons when I approach the Upanishads. If these fundamentals are clear, then understanding any Upanishad will liberate me. One Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad, can liberate you. You can say at the end of Kaivalya Upanishad, I know the truth about myself. Mayeva sakalam jatam, mai sarvam pratishtitam, mai sarvam layam yati. One verse of the Kaivalya Upanishad, you just focus on it, understand with this background of Adhyasa, you will say, I am free today. I don't have to wait for the 11 more Upanishads. What is the relationship of this awareness, consciousness, and I, the jiva, which is connected with the body and mind? Is this consciousness reality of I, the jiva, or is it different from the jiva, the body and mind complex? These are all the questions we'll be answering throughout this Adhyasa Bashyam. Bashyam means commentary. Adhyasa means it's a commentary on superimposition, which Shankaracharya wrote before taking the commentary of Brahma Sutras. He felt the need of that at that time. I feel that that is required for us now before we start the Upanishad. Therefore, I decided to take that now. Bondage is going through comforts in life, but always living on the verge of sorrow, insecurity, fear, not sure of our continuity of pleasure. We had pleasure yesterday, but will it continue tomorrow? Always in anxiety. Will I have enough money to last till the end of my life? What will happen after 2 weeks or 2 months or 20 years? Essence of bondage is a mix-up of the real and the unreal, which is adhyasa, which is due to ajnanam. Ajnanam is the cause, ignorance is the cause, ignorance of the self. The reality is not far away from us, but it is an integral part of our own existence. That is why Shankaracharya and all the Upanishads, they say, look within yourself and discover that reality in you, in the core of your personality, not outside. Outside is also the same reality that comes from the understanding of the Mahavakya. Tatvamasi, I am Atma Brahma. These will tell me that this core, Atma, is the same everywhere. I have to learn to abide with that Atma. I am unable today to manifest that reality and become free from the bondage of identification. For a Dvaitin, Dvaitin means a person who is suffering from samsara. For him, sorrow is real. If you ask any human being, he will say, yes, I'm very, very sad. I was sad last week. I'm sad 5 years, was sad 5 years ago. Generally, people will acknowledge their sadness much more than they can acknowledge the happiness. Happiness is very, very short-lived memory, but sadness continues. It appears to continue throughout the life because of the repetitive memory of sadness in our mind. Shankaracharya clearly says that is a jwaram. It is a fever of the mind. Anujwaram. Repeatedly thinking is called as anujwaram. Thinking one time is jwara, fever. Repeatedly thinking of the same thing again and again, sadness. I was sad 10 years ago. I'm sad last year. I'm sad again today. Repeatedly thinking. Stop this repetitive thinking and refocus the thinking on I am free. I am always free. Why can we transform this notion? Because of the study of the Upanishads. Without the Upanishads, there is no pramanam to say, I am ever liberated Atma. Like the eyes can say, this is the color, yellow. Like the ears can say, this is the sound of so many decibels. This pramanam from the Shastra can tell me I am free. I use the Shastra and become free. That is the methodology of a spiritual student. Very different than the objective sciences. Objective sciences, physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, zoology, all this you can study very well in the colleges, in the universities, but very difficult to find the subjective scientist. Knowing yourself. So for Advaitin, sorrow is a superimposition. You will come to a realization by the end of Adhyasa Bashyam that sorrow is a thought. I can live without this thought as I live, as I exist without the sorrowful thoughts in my sleep. Direct experience for all of us. There is no other proof required. Is there sorrow when I'm sleeping? Am I existing when I'm sleeping? Yes. At that time, do I experience sorrow? No. So is sorrow the dharma of the body or mind, or is it my dharma? I am the Atma, which is beyond the 3 states. Very clearly, Mandukya Upanishad says this. I am Turiyam Atma. So if I am that Atma, there is no sorrow intrinsic to me. It comes and goes, appears, disappears, appears, disappears. Let me live with that sorrow because it's a part and parcel of the law of karma as for the body, which has taken birth, and it will experience this and then it will disappear. That's all. But I exist. I existed before the birth of the body as this pure awareness, consciousness. Today I exist as pure awareness, consciousness. Sadeva Somyam idam agre asid. This consciousness was there before creation. It is there during the creation. It will be there after the creation. Disappears. Manifestation, unmanifestation is of the world, not of me. Okay, so Adhyasa has origin in ignorance, ajnanam. It can be eliminated only by one method. There are not 10 methods to remove this ignorance. Very wrong ideas which are brought in our day-to-day life. You can be liberated by so many different methods. Kundalini yoga, Raja yoga, so many yogas are there. Karma yoga, these are all preparations. They are very good. They are preparations for purifying the mind, which has got malam and vikshepa. It has got an impurity of raga, dvesha, moha. So many impurities. They will remove that. Upasana will remove the impurities. Meditation will help me to remove these impurities and make the mind one-pointed. But we have to come to the Upanishads to know, who am I? With this knowledge only, I can remove the adhyasa, remove the superimposition. In the Bhashyam, there is a methodology of a Purva Pakshi and a Siddhanti. If you read the commentary which I have circulated last week, you will find this dialogue which goes on between an opponent and a Vedantic. That is the style in which Shankaracharya has written this Bhashya. There are 3-4 chapters in this Bhashya. I will explain to you that later, but just for your information, this is the style in which the Bhashyam is written. So how does he say? There is a Mimamsaka. Mimamsaka means a person who is a ritualist. He wants to do so many yajnas and he wants to reach heaven and then get a good new body there and enjoy the heavenly pleasures. That is what the ritualists believe in. This body is having dukkha, but I can get another body if I do the rituals properly. I will continue to do the rituals. I will get a better body, a better loka, and I will have greater pleasures. Now, you cannot tell him that this body is not you, because then the whole basis of the ritual goes away. For karma, you require a body. So they end up saying there is no adhyasa, no superimposition. And then Shankaracharya gives his reasoning how adhyasa is so common in life. It is natural and there is a mix-up. As you study this Bhashyam, you will have these details. Some of these reasoning I have given. I'm not going into too much of tarka, which is logic, because that will require more time to explain. So I'm just giving you some of the important features. So Jiva is permanently different than Ishvara. That is what the Purva Pakshi or the ritualist will say. How can I, Jiva, be Ishvara? Ishvara is omnipotent, omniscient, so powerful. How can I be equal to Ishvara? But that is what Shankaracharya will explain. Jiva is a karta and a bhokta, according to the Mimamsakas. And the Jagat is real. Therefore, they argue that there is no Adhyasa. Don't accept Adhyasa. What does Siddhantin says? Athato Brahma Jijnasa. This is the first sutra of Brahma Sutras. What does it say? It says, now, O student, you're ready to start your journey to learn the truth about Brahman, about this consciousness principle. Know the truth, get liberated from insecurity and sorrow. In life, there is Adhyasa, and who is this individual? It is essentially not limited, but in ignorance, because of lack of discrimination in the intellect between Atma and anatma, the Jiva thinks he is limited. This is the problem we all face, all of us. This is a human problem, universal human problem. So Adhyasa is aviveka, non-discrimination of the Atma and anatma. It comes from the root adi and yasa. Yasa means adhishtanam. Keeping something on the adhishtanam is adhyasa, which we call in English superimposing. Very common examples are rope is the adhishtanam, which is real, which I can see. Rope snake is the unreal superimposed. Water is there, the heat of water is superimposed, the heat of fire is superimposed on water, and I say water is hot. Similarly, anatma, atma is bright, conscious, sentient, the seer, sentient principle. Sentient means it knows. For example, you're hearing this. That hearing power is basically the power of consciousness. I'm speaking. That speaking is that power of consciousness. It's a power. It is that it's a pure existent consciousness principle, means it is a sentient principle. A table cannot speak. A table cannot say, I know the world. But I know, I can say I am there and I am experiencing the world. The seer is self-evident Atma, self-evident. There is no medium by which I need to know that this Atma exists. It is medium-less knowledge. This Aham, I am, shines by itself. And this Aham illumines the other idam. Idam means this. So Aham, I am, shines first, and then idam comes up and it disappears. Idam comes and disappears. Idam is not the truth. Idam means this world, this body, this mind. Whatever is not Aham, we refer to it as idam. Anatma means it is the world of darkness. It is inert. The three states are inert. The three bodies of the subtle body, the three states belong to the mind. The three bodies are the gross, subtle, and karana shariram. The five koshas, they're all inert by nature. But the world becomes evident only because of the shine of the Aham thought. The first thought when we get up in the morning is the Aham thought. I am. With this I am, then I can start controlling the entire body, the sense organs, and the organs of action. The idam thought, that this thought, the world thought, is the illumined thought. Aham thought is the illuminator. This Aham thought is a reflection of the pure consciousness in the mind. Without the mind, you cannot have the Aham thought, vritti. Aham exists, I am exists, but Aham thought doesn't exist. Aham thought comes in when the mind is awake. And with that Aham thought, which continues throughout the waking state, I do all the transactions with Adhyasa, with superimposition. But I must know this technical nature of the interactions which go in the world through the body and mind. So idam thought shines after, later. It never is self-shining. What is self-shining? Aham, the pure Aham, as I experience in my deep sleep state. In that pure deep sleep state, Aham, 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 that is my real intrinsic nature. The world is perceived by the sense organs and the mind. So with this understanding, what do I get now? We understand there is a dharma adhyasa. What is dharma adhyasa? Dharma means properties. The limitations of the body are taken as the limitations of I am, the pure consciousness. Try to understand this very, very subtle fact which is happening in our mind. I am is a fact, pure consciousness. When the body comes, I say I am this body. Instead of owning I am consciousness throughout my life, I say I am the body. And then I start fearing death. Many people come to me for the classes and ask me how to get rid of this death. This is the way. Understand there is adhyasa in your mind. Drop the notion that I am the body. Drop the notion I am the mind. Just a notion. I'm not the body and mind. Mind will make a lot of noise inside. But we have to learn to overcome that and own up the Aham, the pure Atma. I feel myself as born because I feel myself to be the body. I need to correct this. I am not the body, I am the pure self. What do you mean by Artha Adhyasa? This is a technical term, Artha Adhyasa. I am the body, I am tall, I am born. These are the attributes of the body superimposed on awareness, consciousness. I am ignorant, I am knowledgeable. These are the attributes of the Atma superimposed on the mind because we say I am ignorant. I am is the part of Atma. Ignorant is a part of the mind. Knowledge is a part of the mind. So there is a mixture. I am is the Atma. Ignorance belongs to the mind. I am ignorant of so many things in the world. All that is illumined by what? It is illumined by consciousness. I am knowledgeable about medicine, physics, law, computer science. What illumines all this? That knowledge, it is the pure consciousness. So we must understand the difference between the light of consciousness, which is the illuminating factor, and the dharma of the body. Body travels here and there. The right thing to say is, I am the knower of here and there. I don't travel. When the body travels to India, America, I say the body travels. I am always everywhere. I witness the travel of the body. That is the correct statement to make. Then there is what is called as mindness. Body is me. Body knows, cognizes. We impose the Atma dharma on anatma. Knowingness belongs to what? Does not belong to the body. Body is inert, made up of 5 elements. But I say, body knows. Possessions are connected to the body. They are not connected to the pure awareness. All my possessions, my car, my money, my wealth, my house, all these are possessions. They are connected with what? They are all not connected with the Atma. They are connected to the body. Because Atma is asangaha, connectionless. It can remain without the body. Without the waking state, Atma can remain as you can see it, as you can experience it in the sleep state. Do the discrimination in the sleep state, you are free. Here and now. Immediately you can say, yes, I know I am Atma. I am free. I have no bondage. So possessions belong to the body. Relationships belong to the body. When I identify with the body, I have possessions. When I identify with the body, I have relationships with the world. With so many things, with my son, with my daughter, all through the body. Atma is independently existing principle, the illuminating principle. Time space, which is a big mystery for science. The rishis have said time space is a property, is a vasana in the mind. It is not self-existing. Very beautifully, in very advanced texts like Panchadasi, this is revealed. Especially in chapter 2 of Panchadasi, this factor. What is time? What is space? How it is a vasana, orientation of the mind. It is nothing else but orientation of the mind. Mind thinks of the past, mind thinks of the future, mind thinks of the present. Mind thinks of here, mind thinks of there. That is space. With reference to the body, you get the space vasana. With reference to the mind, you get the time principle. But as Atma, who am I? I am without time, space, pure existence consciousness. If you study the chapter 2 of Panchadasi, your entire questions on time and space will disappear. This is one of the biggest problems for the superimposition, time and space. I am born. I will not be there after some time. This is a superimposition. It is a thought in the mind. It is superimposed on Atma, which is pure illuminator of the thought. You might say that these are all things which you're saying, but how do I realize all this? Just go through this Adhyasa Bashyam. Your intellect will get convinced. Go through this. Let it ring in your ears. You have never thought of all this. These are new thoughts, new ideas coming into your mind. This is what Shankaracharya revealed. This is how he defeated all the opponents and the debate after debate he had. But his fundamental was very clear. He could argue with anybody because he had this fundamental knowledge of Adhyasa. So you and I can study the Upanishads and can understand exactly what a jnani who has existed in so many janma, so many jnanis came and went in this world. They all realize the same truth which you and I are trying to understand. We have to use the Shastra Pramanam, the means of the knowledge to arrive at the truth of Atma. So the property of body, birth, death belongs to the body. It gets manifest and it gets unmanifest in time. Body did not exist before. It was unmanifest. It was not there. It appeared. It was manifest. But this is not a property of Atma. That is what is the lesson we have to learn. What is Jnana Adhyasa? See, these are all different terms which are used in the Adhyasa Bashyam. If you understand these terms, it is enough. Your understanding of the whole Bashyam will be very clear, which we will see in the end and say, this is what the Adhyasa Bashyam. I've already told you in the beginning what you will learn at the end of the Adhyasa Bashyam. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am Satchit Ananda Atma. So how does this Jnana Adhyasa take place? Jnanam is a property of the mind. There is no Jnanam without Vritti. In sleep, there is no Jnanam. In waking, there is Jnanam. Because mind is active, mind can have a Vritti, a thought, which is illumined by Atma. I am suffering. I am enjoying pleasure. These are the properties of thoughts in the mind. Mind cannot know these thoughts by itself. It cannot know the joy or sorrow. This mind, ego, I is continuously changing. Savikaram. Savikaram means changing. This mind is the knower of the five sense objects. That is the fundamental function of the mind, to know the world. The thoughts, they go into the world and then they come back, and that is what is the whole interaction of the sense organs and the mind, to perceive the world. When I perceive the world, I am a feeler. Then I identify with the thoughts. I have emotions. I identify with my thoughts. I become a thinker. So a perceiver, feeler, thinker is connected to the body and the mind. It is not connected to the illuminator of the body and mind. Therefore, there is a mix-up. Atma is the illuminator. It is the light. It is the ultimate experiencer of the world. Without Atma's light, there is no experience possible at any point of time. Then we should understand the difference between consciousness and inertness. Chit. What is Chit? What is consciousness? Very fundamental factor is consciousness knows itself and knows everything else also. Therefore, we say it is self-evident. Self-evident. There is nothing which needs to illumine consciousness. It is the light of existence. It is the light of awareness. It is one, ekam. It is the permanent, changeless seer, knower, principle in this body, in this world. Permanent. That is why it's called Nitya. And what is Jadam? Exactly opposite to Chit or Chaitanya. Jadam cannot know itself, body cannot know itself, it cannot validate anything else also. It is many in nature. You see several bodies in nature, anekam. It is always a seen. It is an object of Atma. Drik, Drishyam. Drishyam is the body and the mind and the world. The seer, Drik is Chaitanyam, illuminator, consciousness, awareness. Whatever is illumined is anityam. Anityam means it is perishable. It is not permanent. These are all the fundamental facts. If you know, Adhyasa becomes very easy. Asmat and Yushmat, these are the two terms which Shankaracharya uses in the Adhyasa Bashyam. Asmat means the subject, the self-evident subject, I, the Atma. Yushmat means this, always the object. Object cannot become the subject cannot become the object. The rule you should remember, Drik can never become Drishyam. I'm talking of the ultimate consciousness. It can never be a Drishyam. That is why you say in meditation, don't try to bring your consciousness in front and see consciousness. You can only remain as consciousness. Be that consciousness. What is the difference between, okay, and one more point, it is dependent. This is dependent. This world is dependent on the seer. Whereas the seer is independent, like in the sleep state. It is the pure consciousness which illumines the thought that there is nothing. The nothingness is a karana vritti, karana sharira vritti, which is illumined by consciousness. That is what is called as the sleep state. It is a vritti, it is a thought, which is illumined. I don't experience anything. Everything is blank. I'm ignorant about myself, I'm ignorant about the world. That is what is called as the sleep state. In Vedanta, the sleep state is nothing else, but it is another state of the mind. In an unmanifest condition. There are two schools of thought. One is Dvaitin, another is Advaitin. This is the last point we will take, and then we will stop after this. Dvaitin means a duality-oriented person. I am there, the world is there. Both are Sat principle. There is no Adhyasa. For a Dvaitin, there is no Adhyasa. There is no superimposition. So he will say there is no Adhyasa. I am really limited by birth and death. Rebirth is real. There is no Adhyasa possible for a Dvaitin, which is what all these Mimamsakas, Tarkikas, Mimamsaka means people who are ritualists. Tarkikas means logical oriented people. There is nothing else called as Adhyasa. What is Advaitin? Advaitin say, there is Mula Ajnanam, the ignorance of the self, which is all by itself can exist. That real I in life is the ultimate truth. That I manifest in the form of real and unreal. Real, which we see as real in the world, that reality is a reflection of that pure consciousness. We take Atma as anatma and anatma as Atma. This is mutual superimposition. The easiness which is derived from Atma is imputed to body, mind, and world. So with this, we will stop our Adhyasa Bashyam today. I'm sure you must have got some inclination, some idea about this. This study of Adhyasa Bashyam is very, very deep subject, very subtle subject. It needs a very sharp intellect to understand this. So far, if you have understood, you have a very good intellect, very sharp intellect, very focused intellect, which can grasp. If you can grasp this, you can grasp the Upanishads very easily. Okay, so with this, we will stop here. We will continue this next week for about half an hour. Next week, we will do the Kaivalya Upanishad first, and then we will take for 30 minutes every week. We will try and take this Adhyasa Bashyam. Okay, then there is one small slide which I wanted to show you today that was sent to me by a friend of mine who regularly follows these lectures. And basically, he gave me this slide which I want to share with you. Yeah, this is the different Vedantic schools. He sent me this slide, which I thought all along we have been studying one aspect of Vedanta, which is Advaita. But note that that is not the only school of Vedanta. There are many different schools of Vedanta with different perspectives. The list which gives below is just an idea for you. They are the proponents and the year in which they existed. It is a chronological period in which all these different philosophers came and went. All they talked was Advaitam. They all were different forms of Advaitam. They were all believers in Veda Anta portion. Shankaracharya existed 768, 820 before Christ. Bhaskara 996, 1061. These are all the periods in which they existed. You can see. I'm just giving you this just for academic purposes, so that like the other literature which I gave you for all the 1180 Upanishads, you can also keep this. See here, the three main things is Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya existed in the year 1017 to 1127. About 300 years after Shankaracharya. And he was a proponent of Visishta Advaita. These are the three main schools of all these schools mentioned here. Three main schools is Advaitam, Visishta Advaitam, and Dvaitam. Dvaitam is from Madhavacharya, who existed and he taught Madhavacharya. There are Dvaita sutras also available. Madhavacharya has written sutras. Ramanujacharya has written sutras like Brahma Sutra, which Shankaracharya comments on. Madhavacharya also has got sutras, commentaries, and so on. This is just an information. The rest of the thing are all combinations of different types of Advaita.